It's the Takeover. It's the Takeover right here on the award-winning CBJ Radio. We're always bringing you the coolest artists on Wednesday nights, and tonight's no different. Minnesota bluesy hard rock band Nectarous. They just released their self-titled debut album, along with a single and a video for Sugarcoat. They're also getting ready to hit the road this month. They're playing some shows on the Makes a Poor Man Cry tour. And if you listen to Sugarcoat, it makes sense. We're stoked to have guitarist Brodie from Nectarous on the show. First, Brodie, thanks so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, wow, the debut album is out. You guys have been playing for like 4 years or since, COVID started. Were you playing covers? I mean, you had some singles last year. Was it a step process? What's with the album now?
Yeah, actually, we didn't do a whole lot of covers in the beginning. It's always been originals as the focus, and we did do an EP about 2 years ago. But yeah, it's just we released an album now because it's all it's always the next step as a band. You always got to get an album out there. If like you want to make your name, you want people to know who you are. Always release an album. Always get music out there. So yeah, we did a few singles last year, and album officially came out in August of this year, and right now we're just grinding away, promoting it, trying to get as many people to hear this as possible.
Yeah. Well, it's cool. Your dad was a rocker and a guitarist. Your mom liked glam rock. I would have loved to grown up in that household.
Yeah. It's not too shabby. Parents listen to good music, and then I got to hear good music because of that.
I mean, did your dad give you a guitar? How did it work with that? I mean, you're filling your old man's shoes. That's kind of tough.
Yeah. This is like summer 2010. Like I remember my dad. I think he's like, "You kids gotta do something. You guys don't do anything around the house." And I think he's like, "Well, pick up the guitar so you're not so lazy," or some shit like that. And then I was like, "Cool, yeah, I'll play guitar because I always liked the music." And then eventually I actually started to take it seriously, and then here I am today. So I guess it all paid off.
Yeah, it worked. Thanks, Dad. Well,
yeah.
And reading and listening to you talk, Brodie, you're a huge Guns N' Roses fan. Yeah, I mean, Appetite for Destruction. You got a Zeppelin shirt. Zeppelin's also an influence too, but I mean, GNR is huge for you.
Exactly. Yeah, they've been there since like day one. Parents showed me that shit early on, and then I feel like today still I'm always going back and still feeling like pretty good about them whenever I hear them. So yeah, they're probably going to be one of my favorite bands for the rest of my life.
Have you seen them on tour, on this Not in This Lifetime tour that's never ending in your lifetime?
Yeah. I think I've seen them twice on this one.
Yeah, me too. I was like, I saw them in '93, I think was the first time. And then the Not in the Lifetime tour, I was like, we got to go. And then we went the second time. I was like, well, this is the second time we're watching them on the Not in This Lifetime tour. So it's
twice in this lifetime tour.
Well, exactly. Twice in this life. Might be third in this lifetime if they come back.
Yeah.
Around. Well, you got the band together. What was it? Just time for a band? Were you trying to do more or what?
Oh, I've like always had a band like the last 10 years or so. There's never been a point I never had a band. And I think at the start of the pandemic or like early 2020, I was playing with some people trying to get like a Nectarous off the ground. And then like that didn't happen because like COVID like immediately starts. And then like it's like July 2020 where I officially start to meet the people in the current band. And I started out with me meeting the drummer Ryan, and then I went to high school with the singer Mitchell. So that's how we connected. And so yeah, I don't know. I think with this band, it's just like all the stars just fell into place, and it's hard to explain. Sometimes everything just happens right for you in one moment, and that's kind of how this band started.
Yeah, well, it works after your hard work. It's finally coming together. So that's a good thing. Nectarous, we were just talking about it because it's funny. How did you guys find this? You were just looking for what, sweet and what online, and you found the name of the band?
Yeah, no, I was just like, I remember thinking like, I need a band name that's sweet. So I looked up the word sweet in a thesaurus, and then Nectarous pops up, and I'm thinking, well, there it is, a word I've never heard before, and like it means sweet, so it's got to be the perfect band name.
Yeah, Nectarous. I've never heard the word either until researching you guys. Go check them out, Nectarous. They're on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. Their debut self-titled album is out right now, along with the single and video for Sugarcoat. So, I mean, the album, I think, came out, and then you hooked up with Pavement, or were you with Pavement before the album hit?
Oh, yeah, the album came out first, like mid-August, and then it was like a week or two later. I'm just like kind of shopping it around, talking to people, seeing if anyone wants to like get in and help us like promote this thing, get out there. And then the Pavement, got back to me like instantly. They're like, "Yeah, we'll help you out, and we'll see if we could start a relationship here." And then it's been pretty good so far. No complaints. They've all been super nice. Tim King is the one who was first talking to over there, and he's been great to us. So I'm looking forward to see if this can turn into something.
Yeah, no, they're a great PR firm, great people. Yeah, and they got some great bands, and hopefully you guys can go out on tour with some of them. Or, I mean, you got the tour
Yeah.
coming up, and we're going to talk about that. What's with mustaches, Brodie? You're sporting one. Everyone in the band has a mustache, or the one guy's got a beard.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I think facial hair just looks badass if you can pull it off. And so I just buzzed mine down like last week. It was a hell of a lot longer. So, I'm looking to grow it out again. Maybe I'll twirl it, get the wax out, and make it look pretty. But I don't know. I think it just helps with the aesthetic of the group.
Yeah, I need to bring the stash back. You guys are bringing the stash back. That's for sure. This album is like full of riffs. Were these like in your back pocket? Did these all happen when we started writing these songs? Where'd they come from?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes they just happen. It's a good question. I don't know if any of these riffs were riffs that I held on to for like years before like they finally came to fruition. I do gotta say, there's one song, "Tongue Shall Wag." That main riff, I didn't write it. There's a guy I was jamming with years ago named Alec Dickinson from around the Twin Cities here, and that was like something he had shown me. And then since we were jamming together, I kind of finished the song, and then we tried to get him in the Nectarous, but like he ultimately wasn't interested in being in the band. But he let us have the riff, so he was cool enough for that. But I think for the most part, a lot of this stuff just kind of came to us over the last 2 to 3 years, and it's I don't know, that's kind of defined the early days of the band here. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I had that written down. Tongue shall wag. The guitar solo on this
yeah.
song. Talk about it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Actually, there's two versions of this out there. There's the single version, which I think has a terrible guitar solo on it. I think I had no idea what the fuck to do over it. There's like that 6/8 time signature in the middle, and like I just kind of first in the studio, I kind of just improvised something during the live take, and then a few months later, before we released it, I was like, "Fuck, I got to do something else." So then I recorded something, and then I still hated that. And then it was like March of this year, which was months after we released the single version. I like went into the studio. I was like, I hate the original solo. I still don't know what the fuck I want to do. So I was just like, I'm just gonna improvise a few takes, and I whipped out like a wah pedal, and there's like this fancy Marshall amp the studio, and then I just did a few takes, and then I really like how it ended up. Like it's like sometimes when you improvise something on the spot, you come up with something like it may not be like the most fancy, but it might be the most random and creative. I feel like I kind of went full Eddie Van Halen towards the end of the solo there, so I'm pretty proud of this one.
Yeah, no, I love that there's actually guitar solos on your stuff.
Yeah,
You don't see too many guitar solos, or you don't hear too many guitar solos anymore, which totally sucks.
yeah, exactly.
Go check them out. Nectarous. They're on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. The debut album is out now. And Sugarcoat, is this all shot in Minneapolis? Where's this at?
Yeah, it's Minneapolis. Like, this it's outside this venue called the Acadia, which is like Cedar and Riverside if you're from the area. And I think if you look in the background, you can see the it's US Bank Stadium where the Minnesota Vikings play. That's like as we're walking towards everyone, you can see that in the background a few blocks behind us. So it's that neck of the woods.
Yeah. Well, because Minneapolis, I mean, a lot of people forget about Minneapolis. It's kind of a thriving city right now. How's the music scene?
Oh, the music scene. I gotta say, I haven't been like very good about checking out the new bands lately. Because I feel like I'm just so under this 70s rock thing, and there's not a big scene for that specifically. But I think our bass player Elijah will tell you there's probably like a big punk scene, maybe some like indie sort of music. There's always been a huge metal scene, but I gotta say, not necessarily like the bluesy hard rock thing like we're doing, which kind of works for us since we're the only band that sounds like this around here. And maybe not like the only one, but like it's just not very prominent these days.
Well, yeah, well, that's what I was going to say, because like Greta Van Fleet, you know, they're pulling off the Zeppelin stuff, but you guys have a different take, and you fill like a little bit of that niche that's not out there right now.
Yeah, I gotta say that feels pretty accurate. Like we definitely feel familiar. Like we didn't invent this style of music, but we're like playing it in a way like it's like, oh, we haven't heard that on the radio in a long time. Like I think we bring like the funky, groovy stuff, like slightly progressive rock. We're up in that genre range, and I feel like we need to hear more of that on the radio, which is why we write those songs.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's old. It sounds familiar, but it's new and fresh at the same time,
Yeah.
Which is sweet. Well, the Sugarcoat song. Talk about the song because we mentioned it in the intro. You're going out on a Makes a Poor Man Cry tour, and that's part of the lyrics in the song. But what's the song about?
Oh, it's about like being like a cup half full sort of person or having like a sunny disposition. Like it's kind of like it tells the story of someone who like, nothing goes right for them, like life sucks. Either like bad things are happening to them or they're just constantly making bad decisions, but at the end of the day, you're like, "You know what? I'm still alive. I'm still here. I'm still kicking it. Life's great. Could be worse." It's like, always smiling in the face of darkness, something like that.
Yeah. Well, the Makes a Poor Man Cry tour. I mean, this is insane. You're playing Nashville, Memphis, New Orleans, Houston, Tulsa, Oklahoma. I mean, how'd you book this?
Oh, it's 6 months of sending out, like 1,000 emails a day. We planned this one all of ourselves, and
Wow.
yeah, no, it's kind of a bitch when you do it yourself because you kind of realize that most people don't like to answer their emails
Oh
or
no.
phone calls or whatever. But if you really want to do it, you got to be persistent, and life's short. So we're just gonna go for it and make it happen for ourselves.
Well, you landed some sweet cities, so that's
Yeah, I'm very proud of this run. I
yeah.
feel like going down south is going to be badass, and we've never been quite this far before, so it's great to always like go a little further every time you're out on the road.
Yeah, because man, well, I was like, did Pavement hook these guys up already with this? But no, it was you guys. So
Yeah, we're just persistent, and we don't take no for an answer when it comes to playing shows.
yeah. Well, what's worked for you guys? How have we grown the brand? I mean, what worked for you, Brodie?
What works for us, just constantly playing and you put yourself out there, you kind of find out like what people respond to and what they don't like, and I gotta say it's been pretty good that we haven't had a lot of negative feedback with our music, so we're basically just being ourselves, having a good time, and people are responding well.
Yeah, and that's good. I mean, you're probably glad that you found. I mean, that maybe that's why you were looking for somebody to help you after you've been pounding the pavement for so long.
Yeah, exactly. You pound the pavement, and then someone like Pavement Records, they come for you. So
Exactly. You're like, enough of this. We're going to pavement. But man, do we
yeah.
have a bus? What are we taking on the road?
Oh, well, I'm gonna borrow my mom's car. Actually, she's got this badass Ford Explorer, which it's good enough for hauling people and equipment in. And we might have to take a second car as well because it's kind of crowded. So no bus. We're not at that stage of our lives. Shit's expensive on gas too, I'm sure. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. Especially right now. Well, what are you listening to? You said you're stuck in the 70s right now because I saw you've been listening to some Black Crows. There was somebody else I can't remember who you said, Castle or some weird. I haven't heard of them.
Cactus.
Cactus. Yeah, I was like, man, I got to check those guys out.
Yeah, it's like my greatest obsession lately listening to Cactus. They were dubbed the American Led Zeppelin back in the day. And they kind of imploded after like 3 albums across like 2 years, but like so there's not a lot to get into if like you want to spend like forever and ever discovering their music, but they're pretty cool. And there's a modern band called Dirty Honey I love.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know, a lot of stuff of that variety.
Yeah. The old feel to it, the
Yep.
classic rock feel to it. There's a few of you out there, but Nectarous, keep your eyes and ears on them because big things are happening. Because we probably want to tour more. What's coming up in the future? What are we doing?
We haven't looked too far beyond what's happening with this tour. We're always writing new music. We've been practicing lately, throwing out new ideas. And definitely a second album is on the cards, which probably won't be like next year. There'll be a lot of writing in the next year and recording. We do all the recording ourselves and we produce it ourselves. Our bass player, he's a local producer around here, so I feel like it probably takes a little longer when you want to do everything yourself. But like you get to like really nurture it and work on your own schedule. So that's been good, and I think we just gotta wait and see how people respond to this album. Maybe we gotta just tour more with this next year and see if Pavement provides more opportunities for us and or anyone else. I don't know. We're just promoting the heck out of this one right now and seeing what it brings for us.
Exactly. See what happens. Well, what happens with the music? Do you write the music and Mitchell does the lyrics, or how does it work?
So far we all contribute to the lyrics, and I do a lot of the instrumental stuff as well. But it's definitely a group effort with this band. Not one person can claim credit for 100% of the material, which I feel like what makes it a good band. Like we all contribute. Like it's the sum of everyone together that makes it so great.
Yeah. Well, and Fool to Delight. I heard that song and then I was singing it afterwards. So it's stuck
Good,
in my
good.
head. Yeah, that's
Required.
exactly. That's a good thing. So maybe a single down the road or something. Or
Yeah, no, actually, I was definitely thinking if we were to do another music video, it's probably got to be that song. We don't fully know what that song's about, like whether it's someone who's like definitely afraid of the winter, or maybe you could argue someone who's going crazy and turning into a werewolf or some shit. Like we don't really know. It just kind of sounded good, and it's kind of like a Beatles meets Led Zeppelin sort of vibe.
yeah, totally. Well, then you got free reign on the music video. You can do whatever the hell you want to do, or think of a
Yeah,
really cool idea or something.
yeah. We definitely had someone who was interested in filming a video for us. Like as we were like filming the Sugarcoat video, someone comes up and like, actually I could do this for you, like because the Sugarcoat video was kind of a DIY project. We kind of threw together at the last minute just to say that we had something to throw out there.
Yeah.
But the next video, we definitely got to like spend more than like one day working on it.
Yeah. Well, maybe get that dude that said, "Oh yeah, I can make you a video,"
Oh yeah, yeah.
or see where it goes. Well, Nectarous, keep your eyes on them. Go follow them. They're on Facebook, Instagram. Go to Spotify and check out the debut self-titled album. It's out now. Well, Brodie, thanks so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you, Jeff. Thanks for having us. It was a pleasure.
Here it is. It's Sugarcoat. It's Nectarous. It's a takeover. CBJRadio.com.